What's up, guys? John Sonmez here from simpleprogrammer.com, and today we're going to be talking about the greatest interview hack that I have ever discovered, right? So here's the thing. Are you frustrated by going on job interviews? You're doing the interview, and sometimes you do fantastic on the interview. You just think you killed it, and you don't get the job, and you're like, what happened here? Or perhaps maybe you're in a situation where you're uncomfortable with the interview. You don't know if you did well. You feel like a lot of times you bomb interviews and you don't know why, and it's just frustrating. It's like you just feel like you're not a good interviewer. Well, let me tell you, all right, let me tell you a foolproof way, all right, to make it so that your interviews go a whole lot better. In fact, to make it where a lot of times the interview just becomes a formality, it just becomes a conversation. They're going to hire you, they're going to give you an offer, and the interview doesn't even matter anymore, right? It seems too good to be true, seems impossible, right? Okay, but let me tell you about this, all right? I opened up my vault of history, went through some of the emails I've gotten from people, and I was thinking about this the other day as I was working on a little project that I'm putting together here. And here's the deal. Here's what I found, okay? Check this out. I want you to think about what happens. What does the interviewer do before you get into the interview room or sit down to that Zoom call? What's the first thing that they do when they know that they're going to interview you? They Google your name. Okay. Now, what normally comes up when they Google your name? Maybe your LinkedIn profile, maybe Facebook post or something. Probably nothing, not much at all. Okay. Unless you are someone who has a blog or a YouTube channel, or you've written some books on software development. Okay. For instance, if you Google my name, a lot of stuff will come up. All right. So now, here's the deal. Imagine what happens if an interviewer Googles your name and a blog comes up about the technology that you're working in, or a YouTube channel where you're teaching people how to use that technology, or some books that you've published, or a speech that you've given at a conference, or a podcast that you've been on, or a podcast that you have created about that technology or that subject. Imagine what happens then, right? You might think not a lot, but let me tell you, if you're on the internet and other people, and you have someone following you on the internet, you suddenly become a celebrity. I'm telling you, right? It is really, really true, especially in the software development space. Okay, you don't have to be a huge name, but what happens now is that interviewer goes from thinking that they're trying to weed you out of the interview process and stump you, right? That's kind of the combative nature that most interviewers have. It's almost like a challenge. You felt this in an interview before, where they're almost like trying to prove that they're better than you, and that's what they're trying to do in the interview. Okay, they go from that to sometimes fanboy, to sometimes like rooting for you, to, oh, we got to get this guy on our team. This would be so cool. Sometimes they're trying to gain your approval. Okay, so you can imagine how much that changes the interview dynamic. And I've got a bunch of guys that as I was going through my emails when I was big in doing the blog course and teaching guys how to build blogs, where they said, wow, it was crazy. I didn't even have to go through a technical interview. I just had a conversation with them. The interviewer came in talking about my blog, right? So this is the hack, guys. And so what does this mean? What does this kind of translate to? Well, it means that you've got to build a personal brand, right? You've got to learn how to market yourself as a software developer. That was my most popular program that I sold back in the day. I'm going to kind of revamp that with something here that'll be coming out. If you guys are interested, you can find out more about that. But the key thing to understand here is that you've got to actually build some kind of a personal brand, some kind of online presence, and that is massive, massive. Especially if you want to get into a senior position, you want to get into a senior role. If you have that, it's going to help you. It's going to make you a lot more money, right? A lot of guys are thinking, okay, well, I'm going to create this business, and that's fine. And you should create a business and build a YouTube channel or a blog or whatever website in social media. But what you might not realize is how much it's going to impact your career by giving you these opportunities. That's what happened for me, and that's why I started teaching those things. Real quick, also, if you want some help on this, I've got a resource that I've written a book called The Complete Software Developer Career Guide. You can find that on Amazon. Also, Soft Skills, Software Developer's Life Manual. I talk about how to build a brand and market yourself in both of those both of those books. So highly recommend you check that out. And we'll see you next time. Take care.